So this guy, his name's Gary, and Gary just got away with murder. And I bet you're gonna be glad he did. So the story actually starts with Gary's son. This kid, his name's Jody. He's 10. And Jody's an active kid, he really likes sports, and one day he gets involved in karate. And he really likes karate, and he's actually pretty good at it. And he also really likes his karate instructor. This guy, Doucette. He's 24. Now Doucette is a friendly guy, but teaching karate is his only source of income, so he's kind of broke. In fact, he's so broke, he lives at the karate studio. Now, Gary feels bad for Doucette because he's such a nice guy and he seems to be good with the kids. So Gary decides to let Doucette eat dinner with the family sometimes. He lets him borrow their shower when he needs it. And so Doucette, who's over there all the time, he ends up becoming a family friend. So now he's always teaching Jody karate, he's driving him home from practice, he's taking him out to see movies, and they have a lot of fun together. And this relationship goes on for a while. But here's where the story gets dark. Turns out Doucette is low-key a creep. And once the family starts trusting him, he starts testing boundaries with Jody, touching him when they're alone, seeing how far he can get. And this is a common thing that P3DOs do. They'll often test boundaries little by little to see how far they can get, to see if anyone calls them out on it. And they'll test boundaries with the parents too. They'll take the kid out for a few hours to see how long it takes for the parents to get worried, stuff like that. And this is exactly what Doucette does. And after a few months of testing these boundaries with Jody and his parents, he straight up starts essaying Jody. And he's always hanging around the family, so he gets to do it frequently, nearly every day, anytime he can get Jody alone. And the whole time, Doucette is pretending to be Jody's friend. He's always taking Jody to the local movie theater and on trips to karate tournaments and stuff. And Jody, with his 10-year-old brain, he doesn't know what to make of all this. I mean, he doesn't like the touching stuff, he thinks it's weird. But he likes hanging out with Doucette. Because he's older than him, but he's not nearly as old as his parents. But he is still an older guy, so he's still got that, cool factor going on. So young Jody doesn't know any better, and he doesn't tell anyone about the essay or about any of the inappropriate stuff going on. And all this goes on for about a year. But then, it really goes wrong. Because one morning, Doucette, he comes over to Jody's house, and Jody's mom is there. And we'll just call her Mom. And Doucette asks Mom if he can borrow their car, because he needs to run an errand. And Mom's like, sure, Doucette, you can use the car. And then he asks if Jody can ride along with him. And Mom's like, sure, have fun. So they leave, and several hours pass. And Mom notices Doucette hasn't come back yet. And she starts panicking. Where the hell are they? Did something happen to them? And so she calls police. Meanwhile, Doucette has got Jody in the car, and they're driving west because Doucette is officially kidnapping him. And they make a few stops, but then they end up at Doucette's uncle's house where they ditch the car. And then he and Jody, they get on a bus and they go from Louisiana all the way to Los Angeles. Now, Jody's 11 at this point, so naturally he doesn't fully comprehend the gravity of everything that's going on. I mean, he still thinks Doucette is his cool older friend and that they're somehow out on some kind of adventure. And so while they're in Los Angeles, Doucette walks them around downtown and they see a TV show being filmed and he gets to see the Hollywood sign. And then that same day, they get on another bus and they travel from Los Angeles down over to Anaheim. And they stay in a motel. And then the next day, Doucette takes Jody to Disneyland. And he's 11, so I'm sure he has a good time. Now, at this point, Jody has been missing for 9 whole days. And Gary and Mom, they're back home, and they are going insane. And there's a nationwide manhunt looking for these two, and the FBI is now involved, and no one really knows if they're ever going to see Jody again. Until